When do they release it? What is the proper way to release information? Might they be withholding information for a reason? Well, my friend Jay Warner Wallace, cold case homicide detective, will say yes.
The slightest mistake. So that's why every T is going to be crossed, every I is going to be dotted. And silence is now taken by these online YouTubers as evidence of something nefarious. No, silence is just prudence.
That's a key point, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to that. That is a key point that you need to know. Jim's been on the inside and done these investigations himself. He knows what he's talking about. You don't reveal information before you have to.
No. And I'll tell you something, every time, when I get upset when I watch sometimes a federal administration do an investigation like this, because I know they're bowing to they have press releases, they have press conferences. I'm always like, don't do that. I have no problem having them mad at me, but in having no information. Because it turns out no information to the public helps you when you finally get to trial. I get it. Can you have no information? It's just going to create all of this conspiratorial thinking. Okay, I understand all that. But from an investigative perspective, everyone being dumb and not knowing what's going on is going to help us.
And then she gave them an ultimatum.
I'm going to challenge Turning Point USA executives to issue a very clean statement saying that I am lying if this is not true. Did he also express that he wanted to bring me, Candace Owens, back because he was standing up for himself? And then did he, just 48 hours later, conveniently catch a bullet to the throat?
So she now alleges that she not only knew that Kirk was planning to abandon Israel, but also that he was planning to reunite with her on stage, and seems to imply that those things were somehow connected to his death just 2 days later.
He said he was going to bring me on the stage. Challenge Turning Point. No. The text said, I'm thinking of inviting Candace. But she concluded that was going to happen. Whether it was going to happen or not, she cannot prove that. She can only, assert that it was going to happen. But the text message didn't say that. It says, I'm thinking of inviting Candace.
Of Kanye, I don't expect her to personally attack him, but there's also no need to go out of the way to promote this album if blasphemy really does bother her so much. And those aren't the only Christian values that Candace seems to turn a blind eye to. Candace has condemned and shamed countless women for being immodest, including Kim Kardashian and Madonna, by saying that they're basically punning corn on the internet for being nearly naked. But that same album she promoted in multiple tweets also features Kanye's naked wife on the cover. And as Candace herself said,
there needs to either be a real standard, right? Or there should be no double standards. We just need to have a real standard to not allow pornography on the internet.
She's also made several podcasts attacking rappers for having degenerate lyrics, but literally every single thing that she scolds and shames other rappers for promoting in their lyrics is also being promoted in Kanye's Vultures album. And rather than being infuriated with it, she praises it. Once again, her values seem to be compromised by selective loyalty. But Candace's loyalty to individuals like Andrew Tate and Kanye West is only one part of the problem. Her unwavering commitment to certain ideologies has led her down an even more dangerous path.
What is it about Hitler? Why is he the most evil? Where did the idea of a concentration camp come from? The Bolsheviks. Ataturk was Donme. Sigmund Freud was a Kabbalist. Yale was established by Frankists, Israelis that were working at the World Trade Center who were forewarned of the attack.
This is especially evident in her recent flirtation with anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, where her loyalty to these ideas has seemed to cause her to overlook facts and compromise her Christian values. You see, Candace has built a reputation for calling out misinformation and challenging mainstream media narratives. However, in recent years, Candace has become a powerful media figure herself, reaching nearly 60 million views per month, which surpasses the primetime viewership of major news networks like MSNBC. So her influence carries a lot of responsibility, making it crucial for her to remain steadfast in the Christian value of not bearing false witness. If you've been following her content lately, you can't help but notice that she seems to trace every world problem back to the Jews in some way. But the only problem is, she consistently gets her facts wrong. So much so that even Nick Fuentes, who's known as the most prolific anti-Semite of our generation, he even had to call her out for how much she gets wrong.
And she's calling them the Bolshevists, and she says that, she gets all the details wrong about that. And then she says Stalin was Jewish. Stalin was not Jewish. And then she says Ataturk was secretly Jewish. Ataturk was not secretly Jewish. And but I didn't say anything. I said, whatever. I said, oh, well, not everyone's perfect. I said, yeah, it's not really a good look, but she's learning. I said she's going to get on the ball eventually. So I didn't say anything. I held my tongue, even though that was not really a good look. Okay. You can't really go hard like that and stake the reputation of you and everybody on this and then get it wrong really severely over and over. She's talking about, all this stuff that it just doesn't even really make any sense. And the difference between me and her, one, I'm a really good researcher. Two, I really know what the fuck I'm talking about because I've been doing this a long time.
Now, when someone with views as extreme as Nick Fuentes criticizes you for inaccuracies, that's a clear sign that something has gone seriously wrong. Now, we won't get too deep into the weeds here, but take a look at the Frankist conspiracy theory that she's been arguing for lately. She argued that Theodor Herzl, a Zionist leader who helped lay the foundation for the creation of Israel, was connected to the Frankists because they were from the same region. However, Jacob Frank was born in 1726 in a small town in modern-day Ukraine, and Herzl was born born almost 400 miles away in Budapest almost 100 years later. I mean, to see the problem, this is like claiming that because a gang was founded 100 years and 400 miles from where you were born, that you must be a part of it. And she was also wrong about Leo Frank being a Frankist, a claim that lacks historical support and seems to be based on only a shared last name. She claimed that the Frankists were responsible for mission Christians, which is something that they weren't even accused of. So the pattern of inaccuracies is frequent and concerning, particularly when discussing sensitive topics like these. And I get that it's easy to get caught up in compelling stories, but it's also crucial to approach these sorts of topics with careful research and an open mind. Scholars have found significant issues with all of these claims, and of course that doesn't mean that we should just dismiss these concerns outright, but it does mean that we should be especially cautious and make sure we're not unintentionally spreading harmful misinformation, especially when we have platforms as big as hers. So her frequent pattern of getting things wrong has understandably led to significant pushback against her claims, and this is one of the reasons for why her claims have been receiving so much pushback.
There's discussion about his views on Israel. What I can tell you is that Charlie believed, and I was with him in Korea. That was the last trip we took. It was last week, and he was wanting me to go to Israel to start a work there. That was his request of me, and I know this, that he believed the Jews had an ancestral right to the land. He believed that Jews are God's chosen people. He believed in the sovereignty of Israel. He also believed Ezekiel 37, that there was to be a political nation first and a spiritual nation second. And so he would be accused of being an anti-Semite because he would separate that you can question the political government of Israel, but you stand with the realization that the Jews are God's chosen people. They have an ancestral right to the land. But you can also, like we do with our own government, call them out when they're wrong. And I was on a text stream with him and Orthodox rabbis and Orthodox believers, and he would lay this out. He would lay it out, and he would glean from that, and then he'd be on the other side where he's trying to understand, Tucker's position and everyone else's, because he was trying to build a bridge for young people 18 to 30 that were non-traditional conservative voters.
Right.
These are kids that were sick and tired of watching their peers die in the 1040 window in the Middle East in wars put forward by the industrial war complex, and to see them dying in villages and hamlets of the names they couldn't pronounce, and then abandon them and come back and they're still the walking wounded because they've got PTSD, they've lost friends, and what did they fight for? And they leave billions and billions of dollars in American equipment. They were disillusioned, a distrust for the government, and this is what Charlie always pushed.
Yeah.
Don't let your distrust of government exceed your trust in God.
To me, because now she's in charge of Turning Point USA, I personally think they put her in charge too quick, too soon. Because right now, you need the CEO. She needs to be there. She's the president. She's the CEO. All this stuff that's happening. Candace Owens has a lot of followers. People are drinking this Kool-Aid. People are changing their minds. There's people in church who are not going to their pastors. They're going to Candace Owens. All these other things are happening. Looks like she's the only one who's trying to do something about it. Turning Point is not doing anything about it. So as a CEO, she needs to come in and take care of business. But she can't because she's in mourning. So I think they could have waited. You know what I mean? Let somebody else be the acting, be doing things while she finishes up her mourning. You know what I mean? Because it looks like, the business has to go on, the train has to go on. And to my knowledge, I don't think, what I see, okay, Charlie Kirk was the turning point. Now that he's not there, who is the second person in charge? He was a Superman, he didn't have the Robin. Obviously, he was young. He was going to do that maybe eventually at 31. Who thinks like that? But I think what they need, to be quite honest, they need a PR to come in and take care of business. They need like a Olivia Pope thing is what they need right now. Because that Andrew Covet, he's the spokesperson of Turning Point, and you happen to be the person who kind of is out here plastering the entire world. Your screen grab and you are the spokesperson? No. They need somebody who can come in there and take care of business, the PR. What's happening right now, this is not a good look. They need to streamline their messages. Who is saying what? It should be going one direction. He was there speaking. He's a spokesperson. The guy is shaking. He's nervous. He's anxious. What are we doing here? You prepare a statement. If something that needs to be responded to. She put out a challenge. You didn't even have to bite. There's nothing implicating anybody in this text message, guys. There's nothing in here implicating anybody. You know, if somebody didn't want, like, I don't think you should be bringing Candace Owens, that's not a crime. It doesn't implicate anybody else. You know, that might feel good short term, whatever. But, not everybody likes Candace Owens. Newsflash. Proverbs 11:13. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered.